Radio Safira News Service. Welcome. It's Tuesday, May 30th, the 150th day of the year, with 215 days remaining. Today we celebrate the name days of Jan, Joanna, Andrzej, Feliks, Ferdynand, and Anastazy. We wish them God's blessings.
In the historical kaleidoscope. In 1505, during the Sejm in Radom, the Nihil novi constitution was adopted, limiting the monarchy's power and ushering in the noble democracy in the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth.
In 70 AD, the First Jewish-Roman War broke out, resulting in Jewish defeat and the destruction of the region. Paradoxically, it accelerated the spread of Christianity in Europe, Asia, and Africa. Christian Jews from Jerusalem fled the war and fervently preached the good news of Christ on various continents.
Birth anniversary commemorations. Today, May 30th, 1929, we celebrate the birthday of Oskar Brüsewitz, a German Lutheran pastor who courageously protested the communist authorities in East Germany.
Also, born in 1896, Howard Hawks, an American film director, screenwriter, and producer. Hawks was a highly esteemed figure in the classical Hollywood era, directing over 40 films spanning 5 decades. His notable works include Scarface, To Have and Have Not, The Big Sleep, and Rio Bravo.
News from Poland and around the world. In the Basilica of St. Francis in Krakow, 3 monks were ordained as priests, and 1 received the diaconate. They were ordained by Bishop Edward Koła from Lviv. The ceremony was attended by clergy, families, friends, and fellow brothers of the newly ordained. The preacher emphasized the importance of a close relationship with Christ and appealed for a holy life in this challenging world. The provincial of the orders expressed joy for the ordination ceremony taking place during the 800th anniversary of the rule of St. Francis of Assisi.
Catholics in Poland have a new magazine. The first issue of the quarterly magazine titled Niedziela magazine has been released. It is published by the board of the Niedziela Institute and will focus on topics related to the church, heritage, and homeland. The inaugural issue will delve into the history of Poland and the Polish soul. It will be available in print and digital formats and will have its own website.
Spokespersons of the European Bishops' Conferences gathered in Cyprus to discuss the topic of the Church and the challenge of artificial intelligence. The first lecture addressed the impact of artificial intelligence on media communication and evangelization. Other topics discussed included communication in evangelization from the perspective of Pope Francis' pontificate. The spokespersons also visited Salamis and prayed at the tomb of Saint Barnabas.
Representatives from Mongolia, South Korea, and the United States met in Honolulu, Hawaii. They discussed the future of the mission in Mongolia. The meeting took place at the Methodist Church, emphasizing the importance of unity in mission and addressing issues related to denominational divisions. The Mongolian mission celebrated its 20th anniversary and inaugurated the ordination of local elders. Mission activists emphasized the importance of cooperation and unity in their work. Despite the division within the Methodist Church, it was stressed that the mission must continue.
The Church of Scotland will not take an official position on Scottish independence and a potential referendum due to diverse opinions within the Church. Its role is to build bridges and facilitate constructive dialogue between the parties, avoiding division. Recent polls indicate growing support for Scottish independence.
New Zealand observed the Week of Prayer for Christian Unity. The theme of this year's week was Act Justly, Love Tenderly. The focus was on reminding churches to combat racial inequalities and marginalization. Participants engaged in prayers during worship services and ecumenical gatherings, seeking unity among Christians in New Zealand.
A year after the war in Ukraine, refugees in Poland feel torn between their old and new lives. Social centers run by the World Federation of Lutheran Communities support local integration by providing Polish language lessons, psychological support, and training. Refugees have diverse needs, with some planning their lives abroad and others yearning to return to Ukraine. Psychologist Irina Karpenko assists them in maintaining family bonds and building their future.
Archaeologists have discovered the ruins of a lost church in the settlement of Rungholt, known as the Atlantis of the North Sea. This village was in northern Frisia and was submerged during the Great Flood of 1362. The foundations of one of the largest medieval sacred buildings in Europe have been found. According to legend, the church's bells can still be heard from beneath the waters.
Does extraterrestrial life exist? A signal from an unidentified extraterrestrial civilization has been received by the ESA's Trace Gas Orbiter probe. The signal was detected by 3 observatories, and scientists are now attempting to decode it. Through the A Sign in Space project, various communities have been invited to help decipher the message. It could potentially be a response to our earthly endeavors, as in the past, we sent information about Earth into space. More on this topic can be found on the website of the Polish edition of National Geographic.
That's all for this news bulletin. Stay with us. May God bless everyone.